Hi guys. So this video is a lot different from what I usually post on the channel, but I wanted to share with you guys some things that have been going on for like the last year, and then also just tell you a story with some details, kind of fill you in. But I have moved and this is my new home office. I'm going to share with you what's been going on, and it's a story that's led up to the move. But basically I was battling this mysterious illness and then did some experiments to figure out what was going on, and then moved, and then now all the symptoms have gone away and I've gained back my vitality. So anybody who's ever dealt with sick building syndrome or anything similar, this might be a good video to watch. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into all this detail, but I think that it's important to just tell a story of what's happened, because I'm not the only one who goes through something like this. And I mean, it could happen, and if this video can just help one person, I'd be very happy. And also I wanted to fill you in because you'll notice that the background has changed. So in this video I'm going to share with you what happened. In the next video I would love to put together this home office with you. When I put together my YouTube videos, I put a lot of back-end effort in, but I wanted to also make this home office aesthetically pleasing. So this is a short-term rental in this place for 9 months, but I wanted to just make this aesthetically pleasing while I'm here and just make this home office really nice. I'm going to spend a lot of time catching up on work, and so I put together like a small budget for myself just to make this home office very cozy, and I have plans to put 2 oak colored shelves up there. That's why all that painter's tape is there. And then some lush plants, and then the little white LED lights, the fairy lights, and then some books. So hopefully this can become really pretty. So that's the next video, but this video, I'll share with you what's been going on. So about a year ago, I started waking up in the mornings and then realizing sometimes I have asthma. And then over the course of months, I noticed, hey, I'm, running up the stairs, and then I'm getting winded, or just at times that I wouldn't usually be out of breath, I felt out of breath. And then progressively it started getting worse during, like, say, the first quarter of last year. And then I would, say, knock on a client's door, because I own a professional organizing business, so a lot of times I work in homes, and then I'd be winded or a little bit out of breath. And then progressively this got worse throughout the year. Also, I started getting this rash on my hands, and I didn't know what was going on with it, but I don't even know if I correlated the two yet, but I also started feeling really tired and fatigued, and it kind of felt like my body was slowly breaking down over the course of last year. So then I started spending more time at home and kind of managing, the amount of stuff that I have to do, and kind of just slowing down, making my more nutritious foods, and really focusing on my health. And that's what I guess you would do when you get sick and you spend more time at home. And so then I got more increasingly sick quicker, and now a lot of fatigue was hitting me. I started feeling like cloudy, like brain fog. My hands are getting really inflamed. A lot of my body was getting inflamed, but the rash was mainly on my hands. And then just massive inflammation. My asthma was getting worse. So now, fast forward to 5 or 6 months ago, I'm really trying to care for my health. I had started cutting out a lot of sugars, and then started buying gluten-free stuff. And then I was thinking, okay, I drink a ton of coffee. Maybe it's like I'm drinking too much coffee. Like, what is going on? I'm usually very healthy. So I went through really focusing on minimizing stress, focusing on my diet, I'm trying to make sure it was very nutritious, getting enough sleep, like all kinds of things. I really was trying so hard, and I was still getting worse. So then it ended up that I had to go somewhere for 2 weeks. And I wasn't even sure if I should go because I wasn't feeling very good, but I left the apartment. And then while I was gone, all of the symptoms started to dissipate. I was feeling so much better. So I was like, this is great. Whatever's been going on with my body has passed. So then I go home, start getting into my routine. I start catching up on things. And then I start putting my foods into my diet again. And then slowly all my symptoms come back. So then I started thinking too, okay, nobody would think it's really their home causing their illness. In hindsight, it seems so obvious, but at the moment, like, your home is your safe haven, so it just didn't make sense. But I had an inkling, because as a professional organizer, you've worked in moldy homes. I know what mold symptoms are, and I was like, I have all the symptoms of mold. And in the hallway, outside of my apartment, but there's a hallway, and there was water damage, a long-term water leak into that would have been wetting the wall that my bed is against. And a lot of times mold could be invisible and grow inside of the walls, and when there's too much, it could affect your health, then it could become toxic. So I knew about that, and then I searched my whole apartment for anything that might seem amiss, but it still looked clean, it still looked fine. There was just a lot of cognitive dissonance at this time, because you're seeing one thing, but I think my body or my mind, I knew it was something else. I felt like my apartment was causing my illness, but it could just be my body. It could be something I was eating. There were too many factors. So I told my friends, my family, the doctors, and I was like, I think there's something with my apartment. I feel it, that I think that might be the case. Kind of everybody, including myself, kind of dismissed the idea. I just held on to the inkling. Well, I had to leave again for a few weeks. Again, I got better. Then I come into the apartment, and then I start getting sick again. But this time the symptoms hit harder and quicker. And so then I was like, okay, I want to do the doctors had dismissed my idea. They wanted me to start taking allergy medicines. They said, maybe you just have severe allergies and just use your inhaler. You might have asthma now. So that was their consensus. So anyways, I still held on to this idea. I left my apartment for 2 more times, for a few weeks at a time. Both times my body healed. The first time I left, it took my body longer to heal. The second time I left, even longer. Then when I come back to my apartment, I notice my symptoms again are hitting way quicker, way harder. Now my lips started getting swollen when I returned to my apartment. My eyes started getting itchy and like watery. And then my body was even more inflamed. My hands got so bad at one point that I couldn't hold a pen. I couldn't type. It was hard to wash my hair, brush my hair. I couldn't I couldn't get my hands wet. So washing the dishes, cooking for myself became like this big problem over the course of a few months. And so my dad said, I'm out of town right now, but why don't you go to my house and stay there? And then use the dishwasher. I have a backyard. But he's like, then at least you don't have to walk the dog. Holding the leash was horrible. It would hurt so bad. So I took him up on it, left for a few weeks. I got better. And then I was like, okay, it's definitely, I think, my apartment or something in it. And then while I was at his house, I tried incorporating all my foods back in, and I was okay. So I talked to a doctor. I said, I want a mycotoxin test. And that measures mold exposure, but none of my doctors knew what that was. But I did, because my previous clients in the past I know had mentioned it to me, and I thought it was a pretty basic test, but maybe not. I don't know. So my doctors didn't know who it was. So I went to a different doctor. I said, I want a mold exposure test. I don't see any mold, but I think there is mold. The doctor told me, if you don't see any mold, then I'm not going to give you the test. It was just really a struggle I had with the doctors, until I got one doctor on the phone who I had never met, and I said, here's my log. These are the dates I've left my apartment. This is the days my symptoms go away. These are the days my symptoms come back. And there's like a definite correlation. So she said, you need to leave your apartment. And she's like, don't take anything with you, because there's like mold spores that can infiltrate your stuff. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, can I get a mold exposure test? And she didn't know what it was, but she researched it. She said, I have to send you to a specialist to get the mold exposure test. The specialist told me that she'd prefer to give me allergy shots. She wouldn't give me the test. It was just not a great experience, because now I'm like, I think it is. So it's this big gamble without definite, if I had the mold exposure test, it would really, really help me, because I could see if I was exposed or not. But now it's kind of this gamble. I wasn't sure if I should move or not. Did one last test of going away, and I thought, if I come back to my apartment, get sick again, I'm just gonna go, like, let it go. And because I can't just keep up and down as it's been for the last like 6 months or so, or for pretty much for the last year. So went away for a little bit on a work project. I stayed in a hotel, worked at a home, and I was fine. Then I come back, and within like 3 days I got sick. So the first day I came back and I worked on like business stuff, catching up. And then the second day I filmed the studio apartment tour. Third day I started getting itchy and things. So I went to Home Depot. I got a bunch of boxes, went through. I was really fatigued, like just hit me like. So I know that clothes can sometimes be salvaged if there are mold spores. The most frustrating thing was like, are there? Am I just leaving for no reason? I'm not sure what's going on. But I soaked all my clothes in vinegar, washed them in hot water, dried them in hot heat, and then wiped down my pore stuff with like mold spray and then vinegar spray. And I don't know if I'm exerting all this energy while I'm sick for nothing. But I wanted to put everything in storage. I didn't want to transfer the spores, so I was taking a lot of care. Just, that would not be good. So, and then I double bagged anything that was porous to deal with it later. So it's like sealed. So I had 2 phases in my plan. Phase 1 was to put everything in storage, do the walkthrough with the landlord, let him know what was going on with my symptoms, and then let go of that apartment. Then phase 2 was to get myself somewhere safe where I can heal my body, and I didn't know how long that would take, like maybe 3 to 9 months I was thinking. Well, 3 weeks and I was out of symptoms. The first 2 weeks I needed an inhaler everywhere I went. The 3rd week, all of a sudden I noticed I didn't really need the inhaler. The 4th week I haven't touched the thing, and then the thing that I'm so grateful for it while I was using it. But yesterday I went to the supermarket and then I had to return the cart, and I ran across the parking lot with the cart just to see how my breath would be. My breath was fine. The only thing that like bothered me at any bit was like a knee injury that I have, but otherwise like I was fine. So yeah, I left that environment, and then now I'm okay. So now I'm just gonna keep healing. I think it'll take some time to regain like my vitality and get myself back to where I was, re-up my endurance. But otherwise it was a really good decision. And so maybe there's a reason for everything. So that's like the last year in a recap. I wasn't sure if I should go into all of this detail, but I think it's important because thousands of people have to deal with like mold. And if that was my experience with my doctors, although I know there are some amazing doctors out there, but that was just my experience. So maybe somebody else who's kind of going through something similar might need to hear something like this, because trust your gut, trust your inkling, do experiments. It's really not easy to leave like your routine life to go do these things for a few weeks, but your health is number one. So if there's a will, there's a way. And at some points of last year, I felt like I was letting everybody down. I had to keep rescheduling things with friends and, clients. And at some times it did get a little bit overwhelming, and I started feeling a little bit anxious, like what's going on with my body. But really, I'm so grateful now to have my health back, and I think it's actually maybe good in a way that it happened, because while I'm writing the decluttering book, and the next will be the cleanliness book, and the next is like the plans book. But in the cleanliness book, I had already written the part of the cleanliness and plans book during COVID. And in the cleanliness book, I have a little part on sick building syndrome. So that's what I knew about. And I want to learn way more about it, though, and include a way bigger section and probably do a YouTube video on it once I have a really good, legit, solid understanding, more than I do now even, or I just need to settle the thoughts because I've read so much about it. But yeah, I think hopefully maybe this could help even just one other person by sharing this, and hence that's why I did. But good things to come now, because this year I plan to focus on catching up on my writing, and then hopefully being more consistent in my YouTube videos and working, like catching up on the business. So everything's good now, but yeah, that's been the last year. Bit of a struggle, but now it's okay. So now it's time to let this go and then look forward to new horizons. And I look forward to providing you with value in my books and the YouTube videos. Thank you so very much to every single person who has watched and supported this channel. I really appreciate you. And see you in the next video when we put together this new home office, and then the regular videos should resume from then on. Thank you again, and see you in next week.